Welcome to Life Fit with DVD. I am back with part two of your most valuable attribute. Now, if you didn't see part one, I will link it up here if you want to take a look at that. But there's going to be a spoiler here. I'm going to give away your most valuable attribute right now, and that is your health. Now, I addressed the first few focal points of your health and what is important around that, and why your health is your most valuable attribute. But I wanted to go through a few others, and that video is getting kind of long. So here we go, getting into the next few, and I'm just going to get into it. So we went through the first few, which is exercise, sleep, and food. Now, what else contributes to your health? Well, people. People contribute to your health, and now that might seem a little bit different or unique. And how does a person actually affect your health? Well, being around certain people are different, right? People are different. They have different vibes. They have different energies depending on what they focus on, depending on how they live their life. And there might just be people that you don't get along with that are very negative, that might bring you down. They might just have a toxic attitude towards them and just say things to you that don't make you feel good. Maybe you feel disrespected by them or diminished by them or whatever you contribute to, let's say a work situation. Um, you know, they're not valuing that, right? And typically, work is a very often a situation where you will experience toxic people. In friend groups, you can typically move around it. You don't always have to be around those people. Maybe it feels like you do, but you always have a choice. I would say you always have a choice in a friend group. Work situation, maybe not so much. Um, but it's important to go internal once again and think about, how does this person making me feel? Do I like how they're treating me? Do I like the actions and the way they behave around me? If you don't like that, brainstorm on the ways to move away from that person and move towards people that are going to build you up, that want to empower you, that support what you're doing. If you're afraid to share something with people, that could be from a past traumatic experience or response from negative people or from toxic people that have put you down. Because think about it. Are they really friends if you can't share what you want to build and grow in your own life with them? It's kind of a backwards thing when we are afraid to share things with people that that we want to build in our lives. Hopefully, you have people in your life that want to build you up, that will support what you're doing, and aren't in it to manipulate you or, do things that are going to, I don't know, taper your enthusiasm, right? And maybe there is a good reason for why these people are doing what they're doing. If they are negative towards you, they might just be looking out for you, right? It might be a parent, it could be family, it could be some of your good friends that don't support what you're doing for a violation in their own belief systems, in their own behaviors, and what the way they see the world. They might have a different worldview that, well, it just doesn't jive with yours. And hopefully, everybody's doing these things with good intention and is not looking to bring other people down in the process. But these are just sometimes conflicts that happen as a result of different levels of awareness and consciousness and people going different directions. Now, if the things that you want to do and the way you want to go, the things you want to build towards, you're doing with a good intention and you're not hurting anybody else in the process, then absolutely go for them and find people that are going to support you in that process. Because if that is what you want to do, you need to build up the people around you that are going to be positive. And when they're positive and you have the energy towards the things you're building, you will have better health. So that is why people are very important in your environment towards building up your health and your health attribute. So very similar to this is the next point, your environment. Now, I kind of touched on this a bit, um, but your environment isn't just the people, right? The people make up the environment, but in a more general sense, it's not just the people. It can be what is in the environment, how the environment is structured. It might not suit you for whatever reason. Um, if you're in a noisy, chaotic environment and you prefer being alone in the woods, well, you're probably not going to see your best results living or working in a chaotic environment. Um, and there's different environments for each of us that are going to work. And sometimes it takes, once again, a trial and error process to figure out which environment is going to work for us. When I used to, work in a corporate environment, we worked on a floor with an open floor plan at one point, and oh my gosh, I hated it so much because people would talk. It was very cliquey in certain areas. I felt like I had no privacy. People were constantly walking behind me, and feeling a little paranoid about what people are looking at my work. Not that I really should feel that way or anything like that, but with the constant movement and stimulation around being in that environment, the intention was to create collaboration, but that is not what it did for me. If anything, it created paranoia and self-doubt about am I doing enough, or what should I be doing? Am I doing the right thing? Can I relax? And wanting to get away from that, wanting to have some more privacy in my work so that I could focus instead of hearing everybody's chatty, gossip and life situations all over the place. Because it's not like everybody was discussing work anyway. Some of it's just personal life, and it just becomes a weird hodgepodge of energies and muck of just people. And sometimes it's great. Sometimes it's great for people. They need to be in an environment like that. However, that's probably what's right for them. That's probably good for their health, to be in a bustling environment where they feel enlivened by, the social experience, the chatting. That helps them brainstorm. That helps them feel productive, and it might trigger ideas to, things they need to work on. But for other people, you might need to be in a much different environment, alone, focused, away from chaos or whatever. And that could just be a introverted, extroverted sort of dynamic as well. But being in the right environment that works for you is incredibly critical. Now, it's not just the energy of the environment. This could also be health things as well. So this could be electromagnetic frequencies that your body might be sensitive to. And I feel like this is something that people don't think about a whole lot because they can't see it. However, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, there's all these frequencies that are around us all of the time. Yet we don't think about them. We don't think about what impact they might have on our bodies, because they do have an impact. Just because you can't see something, it doesn't mean that it's happening. It's just like radio waves. The people that put the Bluetooth or not the Bluetooth, but the headphones right into their ears, where they're blaring out, Bluetooth frequency right into your ears, which is like where your brain is. We need to question some of these things and whether they're actually good for our health. Do some of your own research about that. I'm skeptical about those things, um, but once again, electromagnetic frequencies. This could be allergies. This could be things where you live somewhere where you get really bad allergies a certain place, and that might not be good for your health. But of course, there's things that you can do to prep and prepare for allergy season. Um, Polluted air, that could be a thing if you live in a city and you can't breathe. If you're wearing a mask or something, for your own health or whatever, well, not being able to breathe is a significant health thing as well. If you can't breathe, if you can't get oxygen into your lungs, you can't fuel your muscles. This can contribute to headaches. This can contribute to light breathing, where you're not able to function or think clearly in a situation. Um, However, that might be a health benefit if you're in a city, but maybe a better balance needs to be struck somewhere in there, right? In a place that maybe has a little more trees, that has a little bit more oxygen, where you're alone, and that might be a better situation for your health, even in a city, if that's possible. But all of these things need to be considerations. It's not like a one size fits all situation is going to be the case for everybody. So uh, those are your some of your environmental factors as well. Um, I know I jumped over some of the solutions to that stuff, especially with people, where it's like if you're experiencing toxic people, it's very important to meditate about who you are, who they are, right? Put the separation up between you and them and their energies. Um, Journal about it. Maybe if it's really bad, doing some sort of counseling or therapy on just discussing with somebody external what might be a good solution to some of the people you can't escape, such as family, right? I know family is a big stressor, especially around holidays for people, and it's very important to navigate that very carefully. And hopefully everybody can communicate clearly, but that is not always the case. Um, but knowing and getting right within yourself of what what people are doing to you first, or how people are making you feel, getting right within yourself, seeing what might be triggering about that within you and their own behavior. It's going to be a very critical process to go through to identify what can you work on and what is them and what you don't want to be a part of, right? So obviously that can be very tricky, but these are just some tips to get started. Um, with your environment, usually it's just moving into a better spot, a better location, a better environment that will work for you. And the last thing here I want to talk about as a broad picture focal point is your attitudes. And this can kind of encompass, the people aspect as well, um, or even your environment. But that's your attitudes and your mindset is a critical aspect for your health as well. And I mean that in that what I say often is garbage in, garbage out. Good things in, good things out, right? So if you put good ideas into your brain, into your mind, into your consciousness, then you're going to feel better overall than putting junk in. And the most obvious example to me is watching mainstream TV and the nightly news where they talk about death, destruction, decay, uh, all of these things that make it seem like the world is ending, that everything is so incredibly bad. And I'm not going to just discount it all, right? Because things are happening, sure. However, what we often see are the highlights or the lowlights, mostly lowlights, right? Of everything. And it doesn't encompass what is happening for the majority of people and the work that they're putting in to make their lives better. We typically don't see that. We don't see the work that is going in to, you know, everybody's transformation and journey into getting to where they want to be, right? And a lot of people have really good attitudes towards getting to where they want to be. However, it all starts with what you're putting in. And if you see death, decay, destruction every night before you go to bed, and then you have dreams about those things that create worry and create fear and create all these negative triggers towards this topic and that topic, and the way it's spun, you're going to have a lot of negative associations towards anything in the real world related to that, even if there is no threat to it. Oh, I think it's very telling how crazy, how much power that the TV has on our mind and our ideas, and the way we will react to things based on what we have already been told. And when we put on the TV, typically we're trying to relax and we're not thinking about what is actually going in. Our subconscious mind turns off the filter for these ideas because we're trying to relax. And this is by design. They want these things to go into our brains while we're not on guard, while we're not thinking about them, while our energy is low. So, something to consider that we need to manifest and focus on uplifting and positive ideas. And that might take a conscious effort. Um, I wish I had a better example, I think, for things that are going to build you up. Now, maybe this is a religious practice, or once again, meditation for me works where it's just clearing the mind, seeing things that come up, attitudes towards the way I'm thinking about things, and just saying that this isn't me, it doesn't have to be me, this is an idea. And especially if it's a negative idea, I have to ask myself, where did this come from? Is this me? Is this how I want to feel? Because oftentimes it's not. If you had the choice, would you rather worry about something, or would you rather choose to, feel positive and productive, like you're doing something or building something? And a lot of times we're worrying about things that are not meant for us to worry about. We're thinking about things that we're trying to find certainty to, but we don't need to be focused on. They're not questions that we need to be answering. What we need to be thinking about is, what can I control today? How can I better myself? What do I want to get done? What do I need to build? And where does my energy want to go? So I think that sums up the attitudes fairly well. And I wanted to add one bonus that I didn't mention that probably could go into the water, or that water, there it is, the environment situation, and that is your water. Your body is made up of 80% water, liquid. And if you are ingesting water that you don't know where it comes from, or that you haven't really evaluated for what is in it, then you need to. Because if you're drinking tap water, you often don't know what's in that. If you're boiling water, um, or you're showering in water, tap water, street water, um, city water, stuff that has been treated, right? You don't actually know what is in there because, and maybe you can get a report to see what is in your local city water, but there's often heavy metals, pesticides, fluoride, chlorine, and other pharmaceutical and toxic runoff that, even though it is being treated, these things aren't pure water as well. Dentists say that fluoride is good. Do some more research on fluoride. I guarantee you, it is not what you think. And yes, please, please do your research on fluoride. Um, and anyway, water. Focus on water because it is 80% of what you're consuming. So what I do is I do distilled water. I don't want anything in my water. I don't want any, nothing. No molecules, no, minerals and all of that. I just want straight, pure water. I will put in the minerals and the whatever I need through other supplementation, and just let the water be water. There's other people that use reverse osmosis filters for their homes, or what's the other one? UV water systems. Some systems do both of those things. Um, I hear those are great as well. I've had water pitchers that filter out a lot of minerals and such, specifically fluoride stuff, because I found when I switched that over, that was one of the biggest contributions to my own brain fog, was switching from a purified, or from city water to a purified water. And you can't just get a Brita filter or something like that. Please do your research on what you are getting with a water filter, because the Brita and a lot of other filters don't actually take out most of the minerals, including the fluoride. So get good water. And I know this can be a hard thing because it's like, well, what am I supposed to do? Shower with a bag or something of distilled water? No, you don't have to, but be aware. Simply being aware of what it could be doing to you is half the battle. Because with all of this stuff, I mean, I'm just scratching the surface. There's so many things to be on the lookout for, to be life fit, right? And to take care of your most valuable attribute. And, maybe I will do a more crystal clear PowerPoint or something of all of these things later. But it's nearly impossible to touch on all of this stuff. This is just some of the things that I had thought of, and some of the solutions that have worked for me in the process of trying to get 1% better every day. And I just want to share it. So I hope this helps some people. If you liked it, that'd be awesome if you could like or subscribe. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll do my best to answer them. And I think that is it. So once again, I'm still working on the fitness videos, but we had to get our basement cleaned up from the burst pipe that happened, so that kind of ruined the whole situation with that. But still working on it, still have it in the plans, but I guess that's all for now. See ya next time. Until next time. Bye. Oh, that's not working.